Okay, so next week at the time of recording this, it's already released by the time this video releases, so you will have probably already have heard what I'm going to be producing in this video. I am starting a new Minecraft series on a server called Adults Play Bedrock, and I need an opening track for it. I need music which I can use to open up those videos. I don't want to be using open source music, royalty-free music, so I'm going to write my own thing. So, I have a basic idea of what I want. Obviously, I'm going to expand off this later because it's a basic idea. And I want to make the music good. So, I'm very, very much inspired by House of the Rising Sun. I've dropped my pick. There we go. A great song. And so I was messing about with sort of that kind of a sound, but I'm kind of focusing more on sort of full chords rather than doing APBedrock style stuff like that. So that kind of a thing. And I thought, okay, A minor, C, that works. House of the Rising Sun goes to D. I don't want to do that. I'm going to go A minor, C, G, E. So yeah. And I also started adding on little bits as well. So rather than just doing the chord flat out, sort of like, I'm doing something closer to. And I'm kind of meddling with the chord slightly as I'm playing it. So this is what I've currently got. And that's kind of what I've got to work off at the moment. I'm going to transcribe that into MIDI, so I can work on it in Studio One, and then we can start polishing it up and actually getting it to sound good. Here we have ourselves. Well, I put it in piano, but the basic chord pattern that I've just played you. It's basically the same thing. It sounds very robotic at the moment. That's because I've not done anything to not make it sound robotic. Oh, it looks like I left instance 1 in there as well. So you'll see that I put this in 6/8. This is completely deliberate because I felt like it feels more like a 6/8 piece than 4/4, which then makes this actually quite weird for me. So I'm going to add in a drum kit. I'm actually going to put that on instance 1. So instance 1 has... No? Oh dear, what am I doing? I have no idea. Okay, so I have now figured out what I was doing. It was being a pain here. So now I'm looking at the MIDI interface for drums. This is how I am doing drums on Wish You Were Here. That video will be releasing as soon as it's done. It's currently being done as a college project, so it could be a little while off yet. But yeah, this is how I've done the drums for that. And basically, no, kick snare, with an, I'm going to go pedal hi-hat on the beat. Maybe not a pedal hi-hat, you can't really hear it. This is, that doesn't sound that good. So there we go, that's kind of how I experiment with the drums. Now I'm just going to copy paste that across just to fill this entire instance. This is what I'm working with. Now all this will have a humanizer thing done to it, so it doesn't sound quite as robotic as this. because that just sounds very robotic. All the snares sound the same. The kicks are dull. They don't. You don't get much of a kick from this. So I will be splitting this up into separate instruments. Next up, I guess, is the bass. The bass line, I'm just gonna copy and paste what I do. I can't just copy paste it. I've made my life awkward. I'll do it bar by bar. But yeah, if I go in here, find the bass patch that I want to use, and then just copy that. And yeah, that's as low as it will go, because that's equivalent to an open E string, and that does get used. I didn't mean for it to go there. I meant for it to go in this. There is a difference. That's why I'm being all fussy about it. And I've made my life easy for the second half as well. Awesome. So just Control C, pop back in there. I'd rather be just looking at that one track, just because that makes life easier. Control V. So if we go into here, we can hear that the bass is working. You know what? This bit here, that reminds me of a part of I'm the Doctor, a Murray Gold piece for Doctor Who. Nice, I didn't even think of it like that. So what we have here is our basic loop. I'm gonna put that on my clipboard, copy and paste it a few times. So 4 times, that takes it to 41 seconds. This is for the intro of a video. It doesn't need to be hugely long. So I think that should be good. I'm also going to extend this out a bit. That should do it. And I'm going to put in... Oh god, I hate it when it does that. I'm going to put in this chord running for a bar. Like so. No, that doesn't sound right. Never mind. I'm not putting in that chord. That's because that's the wrong chord. That's not the E minor. No, E minor, A minor. This is the A minor. There we go. So I just extend that along like that. And that still doesn't seem right. That's because I wanted to be a proper A minor. That was the A minor where it was an open B string rather than first on the B string. And that's why it sounded wrong. And there we go. So that's how I'm doing that. Let's go in here, put in A for a bar. Now the bass is very quiet in the mix. I'll be bringing that up later once I've finalised everything. Because I'm not done. This is not done. This is basically just 4 repeats of exactly the same thing. I'm going to vary it slightly. So what I'm doing here is something that I should have done when I was first plotting in the MIDI files. I'm making sure that the strong beats feel stronger by making sure they're louder. There's also the fact that they match up quite nicely to the drums, but even without the drums and bass, they are a fair bit louder. I'm also going to go through and put in a sustain pedal, because I believe... No, I can't see sustain. I think I can add it. If I can't add it, I'll be a little bit upset, but I believe I can add it. I've got to do this all the way along and then copy paste. I've removed this bar from the extension that I added on, so that's not going to be too much of a worry. Right, so now this is all a bit better. I'm going to link all this up. I believe I can do that by merging the events. There we go. And that's it. That's the piano side finalized until I put a humanizer effect on there and reverb effect. Next, time to make this interesting. I'm gonna actually get rid of the drums in the first repeat. So yeah, no drums in the first repeat, and then a little bit of a drum thing before coming in with a crash here. Okay, I have now completed at least the bass drum part, so I'm not going to do that. I'm in fact going to merge the events. I'm actually going to humanize this one straight away. It's drum, so it wants to be pretty damn tight. Note range, maybe add a little bit more variation, because I have got a couple of fast things going on which sound crap when it's too tight. So let's do that. If I zoom out and switch to that, you can see all the variation there, and that is good. We like variation. I'm now going to copy paste this into all of these channels: kick, snare, hi-hat, crash. And I'm going to remove anything that isn't, well, what the channel name is. You see, I'm doing it like this so I can separate everything. I've just done that on from the full kit. No, we want the full kit. The full kit is going to be there. Basically to help fill out everything. Basically get the whole kit just to sound like it's a part of the same kit. But the reason I split it off like this is to allow me to use sounds from other kit patches. So say I don't like the sound of a patch. No, this is the snare. Oh, I need the snare. The snare is good for this one. So say I don't like the sound that a patch that I'm using is producing, then I just change the patch out to something that I prefer. Now, this doesn't take too long to sort out. This is for a hi-hat, so we just get rid of everything that's not hi-hat, and finally everything that's not a crash. And yeah, by this point we're basically done with the drums. In terms of MIDI, I will EQ it later, but I've got one final thing left to do properly, and that's the bass. I mean, you see, I've got the full thing basically there, but I want to spice it up. I want to make it a bit more interesting. Not necessarily with the note, but with the rhythm it's playing. Bass is done. Merge events. I'm going to humanize the bass and piano now as well. Oh gosh. That's not quite what I was expecting. Humanize the bass and piano. So, humanize. Same settings as the drums, just because it should work. And that sounds alright. Still not great. There's a couple of awkward bits. I'm going to put a nice reverb across the whole thing. I'm going to make it a natural reverb. The awkward pauses are still there, but I'm going to leave them because they I guess they work quite nicely. But now comes the EQ part. The EQing is going to be mainly on the drums, just to try and get them to pop more. So for the full kit, I'm kind of going for this sound, because I quite like that. But I'm going to go through each and every single one of these and decide on what I think sounds the best. Okay, I think I now have the sound that I want for each instrument. So, piano. I love that sound. I actually had to mix that or EQ that customly, because none of the defaults that are in here really sounded quite how I wanted it to. It didn't have the warmth that this has. I am actually going to meddle with this slightly. I think the attack is a little bit too much. I think that's nicer. Yeah, that's closer to what I'm wanting. Next up is the full kit. You've already heard this, but let's play it again. And that will be quieter in the mix as well, overall, because it's just kind of supposed to be a background thing. Next up, we've got the kick. I mean, that has a fair amount of power behind it. I might boost the bass on it slightly. There we go. That's better. Next up is the snare. I quite like that. It's got a nice snappiness to it, which works really nicely. And in fact, to increase the snappiness, I'm going to reduce the release. And that, again, it just adds to it and creates something really nice. Hi-hat is... that is just a standard hi-hat kind of a thing. We've got a crash here as well. It's a bit weaker. I'm going to get rid of the low end, the low pass filter, whatever it's called. I can't actually remember. And I'm going to reduce the mid slightly and the highs. And that kind of just reduces some of the tinniness as well. And the bass is actually... this is a default one, but I quite liked it. Because, to me, it just works. Now, next I've got to go through, put custom reverbs on each track just to get it to meld nicely. And then I've got to mix it all so we can hear the bass. Well, so we can hear everything. So the kick is powerful, the snare's nice and powerful, the hi-hat's not quite as high in the mix as it currently is, because it's a bit on the loud side. Yeah, that hi-hat is way too loud. You can already hear the release that I've added onto the piano here. So yeah, I've got to go through, add reverb, add in... oh gosh, what was it I said? I can't remember. I'll do whatever I said. And there we go. All mixed, all ready for rendering. And I like it. It works. I really do like it. I'm going to have to obviously increase the volume on the final render of it, so it's actually audible in videos, but I quite like this. It's basic. It is very basic. I've not done anything complicated really, other than maybe with the drums. There's a couple of double drums stuff that I've done where you would most likely need 2 pedals to be able to play it. Purely based on the speed that I've done some of it, such as this section of the track. But other than that, it's a very simple thing. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please feel free to like, subscribe, you know, all the standard YouTube-y stuff. This is the first proper video that I've done on this channel, so yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.